everybody. Welcome once again to Gaffing the Truth. It's myself, Jeff the G, along with my great and wonderful cohort right there, Scabs the Clown. How's it going, Scabs?
It's going, man. How you doing?
Doing all right. Tired. But that's just tired and just.
Yeah.
I'm still recovering from the Halloween season. I wasn't doing shows. I was just working a lot and working for the costume shop. It's busy, and now I'm just worried about whether or not, because seeing how people are buying costumes makes me worried about if we're ever going to get out of this ever again.
Yeah. Makes sense.
But otherwise, I'm
Yeah.
fine.
I was doing the haunted house, and we just did our end of the season party. So I'm done for now. Up until I think the weekend before Christmas, we're opening back up for like a Christmas themed haunt. Something a little different for the family.
That could be fun. Yeah, assuming that not everything like just shuts down and whatnot.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I was very surprised we stayed open the whole season.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
it's a rural county where
Yeah, but
you're
also
in a.
Governor Abbott was actually saying that a lot of the cases of the coronaviruses are coming from haunted houses, and haunted houses hadn't even been open for 2 weeks yet. Yeah, I think he's just scared. He's scared of haunted houses, pussy.
Yeah, but he also said that he'll never do another lockdown again. So,
Yeah, we'll see how that goes.
well, we'll see what happens after January 20th. What that looks like, because there might not come from the state; it might come nationally. Uh, if they get something in place to help people out, because I'm making sure people while it's locked down, everybody's taken care of, like the business and stuff like that. Which is what we're hoping for. Or hopefully get their people are staying home for the holiday and being smart about it. So yes, the holiday Thanksgiving is happening on Thursday for everybody, at least here in the Americas, the United States. I am not going anywhere. I'm making a brisket and staying home. It's just gonna be me and the dog. I'm gonna play like
We're not doing
Assassin's.
anything either.
I might be playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla all day. I think. Um, and
Sounds like
eating brisket.
Thanksgiving to me.
Yeah, and eating brisket. I didn't bother doing a
There
turkey.
you go.
Just me. I suppose it's just me. So I'm not gonna go into the making a turkey is a big ordeal. So I went, all right. I'm just gonna make a little brisket, and I'm like
Yeah,
like Jewish style making a brisket, not doing like Texas brisket. I'm making a brisket. And then
yeah.
sides, and you're just gonna sit around and watch either be playing AC Valhalla or like finish watching like the Animaniacs on Hulu or something or.
I actually just started that earlier.
It's basically I watched it, I go, wow, it's just like it was back then, and that's a weird but in the best possible way. It
Hmm.
didn't feel dated, but it was very much at home. So you're just going, yeah, they figured out the formula to keep it current, but still have those same beats, and so I've been really enjoying it
Yeah.
so far.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm a couple episodes in, and it's still the same old cartoon, but with a modern flair.
Yeah,
It's
that's good.
I'm enjoying it a lot, actually.
Yes, we are not being plugged by Hulu, WB, or anybody involved with Animaniacs, but
No,
we're on
but we're
board.
willing to be.
Yes, please. I would happy to get. I would be happy to get shit thrown at me like for by the Warner Brothers as far as and their sister dog,
Mhm.
as far as any like being one of their special friends. That would be hysterical. I would love that. Oh well. But today, for gaffing the truth, let's get back onto let's get at least kind of on track. So today we wanted to talk about Hollywood and Hollywood myths and weird shit that happens because this is actually really enough. It's like Hollywood. There's so much stuff that weird shit that happens in Hollywood. That
Mhm.
is it true? Isn't it true? That sort of stuff. We live like and everything. I pulled up a couple of choice stories that literally we could spend an hour or 2 hours just on those stories. But
Mhm.
today we're just going to kind of hit the broad strokes for a lot of things, and then maybe if people in the chat enjoy it, which they can enjoy whether live now or when you rewatch it, because a lot of people watch the shows later, which we do appreciate you guys watching later. I know other stuff's going on.
Mm-hmm. We do.
I know there's some stuff and like I got invited to watch a thing, and I'm going, I can't doing the show. So hopefully, the people who are watching that will watch this later. So please just drop us a line on our Instagrams or our Facey's Facebooks. And if you like what you see, let us know, and that way we can add to it. But and this was one of my choices for subject matters, is because this is one I'm like a pop culture junkie, and I like weird shit when it comes to pop culture. So I like the cool stories. Um, Now, the weird thing about Hollywood is a lot of them deal with death. A lot of weird uh, mysteries on deaths and stuff like that. But there's some really
Mm-hmm.
fascinating. But there's even stuff that doesn't involve death. And I'm going to start one that does not involve death. I want to talk about Ingrid Bergman. Ingrid Bergman is a famous actress from way, way back. She was like in Casablanca and all that sort of stuff like that. But at one point, she was considered a powerful influence of evil,
Hmm.
like a product of the devil. So here's why.
I hope people view me that way one day.
I would too. So the thing about old Hollywood's like pre-Twitter days, pre-internet days, so nobody can dive into anything. The media really tried to glamorize Hollywood to be basically royalty, for a lack of a better term. Uh,
And they've
and
never left, and they've never lost that mentality.
well, it's, yeah, some of it, especially but some of it, yeah. Uh, but the thing was the fallout for all this stuff. It had to be because Ingrid Bergman's personal life ended up changing out, because Bergman had been married to this doctor for like years. And then she hooked up with the director, Roberto Rossellini, which, by the way, Ingrid Bergman, Roberto Rossellini, their, their daughter is Isabella. Or one of the daughters is Isabella Rossellini. Um, so when Rossellini and Bergman got together, they had a kid named Roberto. So once they go, oh, we're pregnant. So they went to go divorce their respective husbands and wives and whatnot, so that way they can marry each other. This is back in 1950. So people like, well, 1950,
Mm-hmm.
you don't understand how this. Okay, so 1950. This is where 45 wants to take people back to like the great time period. This is back when, yeah, people didn't get divorced, all that sort of stuff. The idea of divorce for most people was horrible. Now, if it happened today, there'd be a nasty
Mm-hmm.
Twitter storm. Things would blow up. But back then, a U.S. senator got involved and called Ingrid Bergman, denounced her behavior and called her a powerful influence for evil. And that's March 1950 when all this happened. And the senator did not let up. And like he was sitting there calling Rossellini a Nazi collaborator inspired by cocaine. Inspired by that just There's also the whole affair led to a brief and failed movement in the government that tried to make filmmakers and stars responsible for their behavior, ordering them to apply for government permits just to make movies that could be revoked anytime for anything anymore. They basically want to add morality clauses, like 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 govern that. Because there's morality clauses within the studio system, but governing morality for all the entertainers, because
Mm-hmm.
this because of this because of the way Hollywood is supposed to be these larger than life things. How dare they? When when Isabella Rossellini, Bergman's daughter, of that stuff like that, and Isabella, who was like my big crush in the '90s. Basically, she just goes, "Yeah, Mama, of course, was very hurt because she couldn't even see her daughter from the first marriage. She lost complete custody. She couldn't see that daughter for until like the daughter was a full grown adult before she saw her again. Because like Pia, her original daughter, was like like 7 or 8 when this whole thing started, and so she lost custody to even see her daughter until her until her daughter chose to see her when she became of age. Uh,
Mhm.
so it's just one of those weird, crazy things that a time in another world, which was 70 years ago, the idea that the government was going to get involved about morality of our entertainers. Sound familiar?
Yeah. Government morality is also a great oxymoron.
Right? So I figured, like, I mean, I'm going to talk about some death stuff too, but I figured I'd start with something, another weird thing, which is like this whole idea where Ingrid Bergman, who's like this gorgeous actress who is like pin up material, who is considered a great influence of evil, and her soon to be husband was a Nazi collaborator fueled by cocaine. So I always thought those were great
I
things
always
because
loved that. Like they just put that like on the end of it, like fueled by cocaine.
well, this is but
I
it's
mean, I don't
well,
doubt he was doing cocaine. That's Hollywood, but
it's the 50s, so like this is like technically 40, because 1950, so really 40s. Cocaine was just really coming to be, and at the time it wasn't.
mm,
I mean, it's not like it wasn't like the 80s in the idea of cocaine, so it was just a weird sort of thing. So
yeah,
yeah,
makes sense. Interesting. Now, what movies was she in?
so Ingrid Bergman, she's like as I said,
Yeah,
Casablanca was probably the most famous one. I love her. But that's a
yeah.
great film.
Hmm.
Uh, One of the best movies of all time, and there we go. Let me pull up her. I
I
pull
thought
up
that
her
was The Sound of
IMDb.
Music.
Some other fun ones she did. Let me look at some older stuff. Um, Indiscreet, which is a great film. Her and Cary Grant. Uh, let's see what else. I love anything. I mean, Cary Grant. I love Cary Grant. He's such one of my favorite actors. There's this great film called Notorious, which was a Hitchcock film.
About it's about Biggie Smalls.
No, this was back in 1946. In fact, I was really surprised
Yeah,
that they
back when
wrote.
Biggie Smalls got popular.
Yeah, back in 1946. Uh, no, Notorious is actually one of my. That's actually one of my personal favorite films. It's my favorite Hitchcock film. It's got her and Cary Grant in it as well. What's interesting about because 1946. So this is like to give you context as far as what's going on for that time period. Uh, this is when nuclear race was just beginning, and so Hitchcock, when making his stories and making his movies, always had these things called MacGuffins, which are like these quote unquote made up things that they were just people were chasing after. And so he started talking about radioactive dirt as part of the MacGuffin for Notorious, which is all about chasing Nazis and stuff and whatnot. Um, well, the like as they're making the film, the government shows up and they're going, just like pulled Hitchcock aside, goes, okay, now what do you know about radioactive dirt? Like debriefed him for like hours to figure out what he knew, how he knew it. And basically, Hitchcock goes, I just saw a thing in the newspaper one day about radioactive dirt. I thought it'd be a cool thing. Yeah, I thought it'd be this cool thing for them to chase after. And but it's just one of those crazy, like the government pulled them aside in like hours for that sort of stuff. See, she was also in Gaslight, which is another great film. Um, and that film gaslighting. Our term gaslighting comes from that film, which is weird.
Mhm.
So really, I mean, it's weird the fact that a movie from so long ago become our modern a modern parlance is using that film that hadn't been
Yeah,
thought about in forever. That's what I mean by that. I mean,
yeah. No, I'm sure there's like like 70% of the population that has never heard that before. I've never heard it, so
yeah, it is all about a dude just like totally ghosting a girl and just making her think she's crazy. That's that is what that
mhm,
movie's about.
mhm.
And it's gaslight because there's gaslights. I mean, because it's time period. Gaslights.
Oh, cool.
Spellbound, which is another great film. There's so many. I mean, she like these great Cloud Bells of St. Mary. I mean, just back in the 40s, she's like one of the it people for
We
movies, and
bring
so
the
that's why
ball.
like Ingrid Bergman.
Maybe
So the
pineapple in
fact
the
is, like,
phone.
the
We'll bring
Hollywood
in them.
royalty being denounced by the government was just crazy. That's like
Yeah.
saying the Rock. It's like going around and going the Rock is evil. I'm trying to think of the closest person I could think of that the like the populace is beloved for in Hollywood. And it's like those people trying to tag
I was
Tom
actually
Hanks
kind
in.
of reading something. Yeah, that's actually the one I was just reading about was Tom Hanks and how QAnon hates him
Oh my
because he's
God,
such a
that's
beloved
what.
person.
Yeah, so it's like QAnon. Basically, is like it's like QAnon going after like fucking Tom Hanks. It's
Yeah,
just
it's super cute. Yeah, like I was just reading about that one when I was looking up different stuff. But I do have one that kind of goes like same era that we were just
okay.
talking about with black and whites and everything. But this one in this was like 1932, so the silent films were turned into talkies. And
Okay.
in 1932, Peg Entwistle, a New York stage actress, became the symbol of the dark side of the Hollywood dream, embodied by her Broadway success. The ambitious young actress soon set her sights on the silver screen. She packed her bags for Hollywood and moved in with her uncle on Beechwood Drive, virtually in the shadow of the Hollywood sign. Unfortunately, Peg failed to make a splash, and she spent most of the brutally hot summer of 32 hanging around her uncle's house waiting for a phone call that never came. Finally, on the evening of September 18th, Peg told her uncle that she was going to meet some friends at a nearby drugstore, but this was a sad lie. She instead made the arduous hike up the canyon hill to the Hollywood sign, her one-time beacon of hope, but now a symbol of failure and rejection. She climbed 50 feet up a workman's ladder to the top of the H and plunged to her death. Peg Entwistle, dubbed by tabloids as the Hollywood sign girl, was only 24 years old. According to Hollywood legend, a letter to Peg arrived the day after her death from the Beverly Hills Playhouse. She was offered the lead role in a play about a woman driven to suicide. They found her, a jogger found her body, or found her purse and some other stuff. And she called the police. She's like, I found this stuff up here. I don't know what's going on. Police went and searched. They found her body because, she hit the ground and rolled down the hill.
Yeah.
So they found her closer to the bottom. And apparently there was a suicide note in her purse, like something along the lines of like, sorry, I'm not good enough. Sorry, I couldn't take the rejection, goodbye, cruel world, and yeah, jumped to her death. And I looked that up because I jokingly said that last week. I was like, how many people have jumped off the Hollywood sign? And I couldn't really find anything, just this woman. And I guess it's maybe this just overshadows it because she was the first, or she's the
Uh,
known as the Hollywood sign girl. Because I'm sure people do it as often as they can.
could be. I think it's one of those. It's also one of I think the difficult. I think because so many people are up there, I think might be more difficult versus like some of the other stuff where it's easy. Like it's not like the Golden Gate where it's really easy for you to kind of go walk down the thing because everyone walks down and then just jump because it's easier for because it's harder for people to kind of I don't want to say catch you but to kind of treat you because you're jumping in the water versus like the Hollywood sign. So if somebody jumps and somebody happens to be there, which there's always a ton of people there.
Mm-hmm.
So that could be a lot of the reasons why there probably is some, but not as many, because it's too crowded, and and it's easier for people to
Yeah.
kind of treat you unless you just land that perfect way. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard to say. It's one of those.
Yeah.
It's always still very interesting that the Hollywood legend thing about whether or not she actually got the sign for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good story.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about the letter the next day, yeah, I doubt like that's real. And it's just people adding on to the story. Or, it's an old game of telephone that's just kind of turned into what it is now.
Yeah, but it's one of the because it tells a good story, like because it's like holy, like it's like it's like over the fire going, and then the
Yeah.
and just it's a great button hook for a story. It goes, and then it turns
And then
out
she
she
got what
was
she wanted, but she died.
oh Henry, yeah.
Yeah. And so what else you got?
Let's now we're gonna get into let's get into some weird. Here's a weird thing. So back in the 1920s, because most of the stuff I have is more classic Hollywood stuff. Because a lot of, I mean, there's a couple of more modern stuff that I want to talk about too, but because of just the modern things is really tough to. Other than like the QAnon going after Tom Hanks, that's just such a weird fucking thing. Uh, or QAnon going after anybody who talked bad about Bush. Sorry, Trump or Bush, really, but Trump. So just anyway. So back in there's a director, a silent film director by the name of William Desmond Taylor, who like huge popular back in the 20s. But in 1922, his body was discovered in his home, and the movie studio were called in before the police because this was Hollywood. That's usually what happened. And
Hmm.
a doctor came through. A doctor came through
Yeah,
and said that Taylor died of natural causes, and then nobody saw that doctor again.
doctor.
Yeah. Uh, well, when the police finally did arrive, they found numerous actors and studio executives already digging through Taylor's things as he laid dead on the floor. Uh, upon examination, police saw a gunshot, but according to the doctor, it says he died of natural causes. I guess lead poisoning. Um,
A
hey, but what's really the fact is like several individuals were actually suspects, including an actress by the name of Maple Normand. He had a personal valet, uh, and then people within the industry itself. But nobody had enough to really tie them to the things at the time, because this is back in the 20s. So like it's one of it got really sensationalized in all the dirt sheets. But what's really cool, weird, and interesting fact is even today that mystery remains unsolved. Nobody knows
yeah,
who killed the great silent film director, Taylor.
yeah. Hmm.
I'm a big fan of watching all
I
those
don't know.
behind those meta kind of like Hollywood back in the day kind of LA film noir shows. I'm obsessed with them
Hmm.
all. I love watching anyone like from LA Confidential, the previous this recent season of Perry Mason that's on HBO. If you haven't watched that, watch that. That is good.
Not really
It's
my jam, but I do enjoy the song "Perry Mason" by Ozzy Osbourne.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's all about if you like noir, it's not like the old like 50s like Raymond Burr kind of telling lawyer stuff. No, like Perry Mason plays like a private detective in that time period
Hmm.
of L.A., which is really interesting. And you got Tatiana Maslany, who was on Orphan Black. She plays this really crazy kind of almost like a cult leader that runs a church, and it's based off a real person that did this back in had run this church back in Hollywood. So it's really
Okay.
interesting the tie-in for like the stuff that really existed and like the adding in these fantastic elements too. So I know it's really I know you may not be your gym, but I recommend to anybody just if you're into film noir at all, that Perry Mason series is legit.
Yeah,
But but but
I did.
also Taylor
Once
died.
I found out about Spider-Man Noir, I checked out a little bit of Spider-Man Noir. I enjoyed that.
Yes, that's
But yeah,
exactly.
that's that's kind of yeah.
Well, I mean, like the old Casablanca and all that
Um,
sort of stuff. That's all noir. So
yeah, and I've got this one pulled up. I don't know if it's something we should wait on towards the end or.
oh, you think it might be a big one? Are you going? You want
Yeah,
to
I
talk
think I
about
might have
Natalie?
a big one. I mean,
Are you talking Natalie Wood? Because that's a good one. That's gonna be the
no,
one I'm gonna end on
no,
Natalie Wood.
no. You know what? This is more my style of the whole Hollywood conspiracy type
Oh yeah.
stuff. Um, okay, we can make it kind of quick though, because I know there's a bunch that you want to go over. But a favorite topic of interconnected QAnon and Pizzagate conspiracy communities, so-called home harvesting, long predates these groups. It has, however, resurrected during the COVID-19 pandemic. Google Trends show significant spikes in searches for adrenochrome. In March and June of 2020, its prevalence on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. Reddit removed a dedicated adrenochrome subreddit 30th on Friday, July 31st. Conspiracy theorists plan to hold the first Child Lives Matter protest in Hollywood to expose child trafficking, advertising the event with references to adrenochrome. The adrenochrome harvesting conspiracy theory is a potent example of hidden virality and the ways in which unpopular culture animates social media platforms outside of mainstream view, named by researchers, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, so adrenochrome is basically like they take small children and they terrify them and torture them, and their body secretes adrenochrome, and then they ingest the adrenochrome, and it keeps them young. It turns their hair, back to a normal color, gets rid of the wrinkles, everything, but they have to burn and rape and murder and fuck with children. That's where they get the adrenochrome from. I love this shit.
It has got to be. I know. It is some of the dumbest shit too. Because I go like people. I've heard people talk about this. I'm letting them say everything. Yes, it is that's why Fear and Loathing drug. They did call it adrenochrome in the Fear and Loathing because it's a made up name. In fact, I want to say
yeah, that's what I was.
Hunter S. Thompson.
I was just reading that.
I think Hunter S. Thompson is one who basically coined the term because he just goes, I don't know, I took this weird fucking drug. I think it was called adrenochrome or something. Yeah, he didn't know. He was high on fucking shit.
Yeah, Thompson cast adrenochrome as a psychedelic that must be violently extracted from human glands in his novel, Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. The scene was immortalized in Terry Gilliam's 1998 film, a YouTube clip of Johnny Depp's character taking adrenochrome, which to date has more than 1.7 million views, has drawn thousands of comments referencing the conspiracy.
It's like, I think people are just like fucking watching too much.
And obviously, Thompson is explicitly invoked in what seems to be the earliest recorded posts about adrenochrome harvesting on 4chan's X and poll boards in 2013 and 14, respectively. In an anti-Semitic 4chan poll thread, an anonymous poster linked a restricted, unsearchable video named Jew Ritual Blood Libel Sacrifice is Adrenochrome Harvesting. Within these same online communities, Pizzagate formalized and grew in 2015 and 16 before spreading to the mainstream social media. Yeah, I mean, we could go into all this weird shit like the spirit cooking and Pizzagate and all that, but I know there's other Hollywood stuff you want to talk about. But Joe wanted me to bring up adrenochrome. I wanted to bring up adrenochrome.
No, adrenochrome's worthwhile. I mean, I'm fine talking about it because it's complete and utter bullshit. It's all these kids who grew up watching Monsters Inc. and the whole scare tactics to keep the thing running. That's all it fucking is. It's not real.
Yeah, and like they link up like Hillary Clinton to it because like it's like she looked really old, and then they're like they took her to a back room, like when she was campaigning and everything against Trump back in 2016 or before 2016 rather. But they're like, oh, she looked flustered and didn't look well, and she looked old and gross. And then they took her to a back room for a little while, and she came back out totally revitalized and completely fine. And they say they had a child back there for her to harvest the adrenochrome from, and then she took it in her blood ritual, and then she came out and she was like, I am 10 years younger now. And then 19, all these couldn't get a hold of their adrenochrome, and that's why they all looked old when they were posting pictures and stuff. It was like, no, because literally every other time you see them, they have a makeup artist. Come on, guys.
It's good lighting and stuff like that. No, I know the adrenochrome.
But the Clintons are definitely like.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not the first time Hollywood is tied. Hollywood itself got tied to this stuff too. I mean,
in February 2019, InfoWars featured a segment on adrenochrome linking it to the Clinton Foundation via EpiPen manufacturers and to the highly controversial young blood transfusion startup Ambrosia. A month later, adrenochrome documentaries began to emerge on YouTube, followed by many smaller copycat productions, helping form a searchable foundation for the current day conspiracy.
Fucking InfoWars. Alex Jones. I see him once a week
Mhm.
driving down fucking Congress Avenue on his little tank thing, shouting something or other. I don't know. He drives past just fast enough where I can't understand him. I mean, he could be standing still. He could be shouting something. I still can't understand him. No, that whole idea
It's
where
just gay frogs.
yeah, it's gay frogs. No, the idea that the Hollywood elites or whatnot harvesting the town, harvesting the energy of the youth, that goes back ages, anyways. Because that's the idea. That's that's what they talked about the
Oh, actually,
tale.
yeah, they were saying that at the top. Mhm. Yeah.
I mean,
Oh, God
that's
damn it.
I mean, literally, that's what comes into play long time ago, or even like Hollywood, the Hollywood elites. This is okay. The Hollywood elites pre Scientology days were all Satanists who were worshiping things and drinking the blood of the young just to keep themselves young. So it's not a. It's the adrenochrome
Yeah.
title is a new title for what has been existed longer, and because the internet
Yeah.
spreads shit so fast, it's just oh yeah, but yeah, it's like it's like that. There was talks of that's the reason why Anton LaVey got cast into Rosemary's Baby is because he was the one facilitating that to keep a lot of those people young.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the start of this article was the Dark Ages were rife with plague, fanaticism, and accusations that Jews secretly fed off the blood of children. And yeah,
That's
that's what it was. The Dark Ages, like because the Jews were, they were the ones like they were pretty much staying safe while everybody else was dying and getting sick. So they're like, they must be harvesting kid blood. Yeah, kid blood. That's it.
well, it's just
Yeah.
the rules of the Judaism when it came to food and preparation and stuff like that kept them healthier because they weren't eating diseased meats or
Yeah.
things that were or things that just were improperly made and things like that. So that's
Mhm.
where that comes from. That's why a lot of people, like when you look at the Jewish faith, when it comes to the preparation of the foods and the foods they ate, all that came from this time period because they figured out really quick that unless that shellfish doesn't last long enough to make it worthwhile. And two is if you when you put when you're cutting on cutting your vegetables on the same place where you're cutting your meat, you tend to get sick because you don't wash it properly. So they just
Yeah.
So yeah, they kept healthy. They kept healthier is because they figured that shit out and ate healthier. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Nope. No, I don't believe it. Child
That's
blood
fair.
sounds a lot more plausible.
Yeah. Speaking of well, actually, it's nothing to do with child blood, but it does have to do with So what I'm drinking, it's slightly off topic, but it's still about Hollywood. Weirdly enough, is the beer I'm drinking right now is called Family Business Beer Company. The owner of the said beer company is Jensen Ackles from Supernatural. Lives here in the Austin area and has his own brewery.
Right on.
It's actually pretty good. I back before I moved up here, I came to the Texas Whiskey Festival, and came like a day earlier with our good friend, Old Humble Joe, and we were killing time beforehand. So they're having like just a whiskey. All the whiskey makers were having a thing like the day before, and because I was working with Old Humble, I get to go to be a part of that. And they had a daytime activity. It was just down the street to go to the family business brewery. So I got to go hang out at the brewery, get to watch how beer was being made, got to drink a lot of cheap free beer before I went over to the place where I got to drink a lot of expensive free whiskey. Uh,
Yeah. Right
I drink a
on.
lot
That
of.
sounds like a blast.
I was. If that ever happens again, I'll let you know, and we'll because my price for the ticket to go to the thing was I had to work the table and talk to people about whiskey. Oh darn! Uh,
Oh no.
Oh no, I have to take mouse traps to my tongue and do shots of whiskey and tell people how awesome the whiskey is. I must have done just yeah. It was a good time.
Be like, bro,
Uh
this shit is so good.
see? Kink. Cheers. Uh no, yeah. Okay. So adrenochrome, yeah, dumb nonsense. And anytime I've had people come up to me against that, they go, "Yeah, but adrenochrome." I go, "All right, cool. So you believe in that? Yeah. All right, sure. Show me the scientific
Yeah.
evidence. What do you mean?" I go, "What medical journal? What science journal is this in? Let's start there.
Yeah.
Next, show me the evidence." I mean, and they go, "Well, blah, blah, blah." And I was going, "They're not going to have it up there because they're trying to keep it hidden." I go, "In today's day and age, like, and plus anything that could benefit, like fountain of youth shit, that would have gone long away."
Yeah.
Uh,
I found some funny ones. Like,
okay.
you got anything good, or got anything you
You
want
want
to
to talk?
talk about?
You want to talk a little about Disney and Nazism?
I'm down for that. But here, real quick on this one, just because it's funny as fuck. um, the theory is Stevie Wonder, the legendary blind singer songwriter, is not actually blind. He's just been pretending for the last 6 decades for some reason.
I've heard that before too. Like basically the idea is just it's just such it basically is, it was supposed to be a short con that he kind of went well, just go, "All right, cool, if you play blind you just have to make some money as a kid," and they go, "Yeah, you'll make more, you'll do better if you say you're blind." They got stupid popular, and he goes, "Oh, fuck, guess this is what I'm doing for the
Yeah.
rest of my life then." But
Yeah.
like they have
The proof
uh,
is he frequently attends basketball games. He once caught a falling mic stand. He is interested in photography and once took a photo, and he does other things typically reserved for people who can see. People who believe in this are ESPN's Bomani Jones, people who read this blog, and anyone who's gotten bored with Stevie Wonder's otherwise remarkable career and needs to spice it up with a little bit of scandal.
yeah,
I do love me some
yeah.
Stevie Wonder.
I remember was
Yeah,
I think there was like
superstition
a
gets stuck in my head a lot.
yeah. But the chili, weirdly enough, the Chili Peppers is such a better version too. It's like one of the weird times. Like Superstition, like Stevie Wonder's is really good, but for some reason, Chili Peppers man just fucking kills it even more so. Uh, there's
I do
actually
like the
there's a
chili. I've been heard listening to the Chili Peppers winning forever though. Wow, I totally forgot
yeah
about it.
yeah weird. There was like in the '80s for back when like Eddie Murphy was on Saturday Night Live. I think they actually did a sketch with him as Stevie Wonder doing picture. Like basically, it was like a weird like spoof commercial about like some camera or something like that, and just him just doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember, but it just like as you're saying that, I just remember. I go, "Oh yeah, there was totally that commercial." I remember where he like it was Eddie Murphy as Stevie Wonder taking pictures as like for like the Canon something like this. It's so easy to use that even a blind man can use it, and that was I guess that was the joke, and maybe that's where people were getting their idea
Yeah,
from. He's got to do this thing. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. It's because he held it right. He didn't like hold it upside down or anything.
Well, because
It's
some
not
guys
like he had anybody there to hand it to him and put it in his hand correctly, teach him how to work it. I can take a picture with my phone with my eyes closed. Like
well, it's not like
I'm
that.
gonna have to
He had
click at it a couple times before I hit the button, but I can do it. Like,
it's like it's something to say that somebody in the past hasn't didn't show him that though. They probably somebody in the past may have shown him how to hold it properly.
yeah.
And yeah, no. So yeah, let's like Walt Disney. There have been talks about him being crazy anti-Semitic, um, and not so much. Amongst other things, he was a huge like a nationalist, like pro-America, sort of like in that like crazy mountain stuff. The reason why is in 1938, he actually invited Leni Riefenstahl to the Walt Disney Studios. Now, Leni Riefenstahl, and I do stress it's a she, a female thing, um, was a filmmaker. She made a really good. She's actually no, brilliant. She has a brilliant kind of an eye. She has a really great thing where she took a really great film about the 1938 Olympics when they were in Berlin, and it's I mean, it's just such gorgeous shots of like I had a film class, and that was one of the films we watched because they go, we're not talking about politics, anything like that. We're just talking strictly about how this looks, and it's gorgeous. Uh, but the reason why it's interesting is because he invited her right after what they call Crystal Nacht, which was the Night of the Broken Glass, which is the Nazi government terror campaign that saw the synagogues burned, Jewish shopkeepers smashed, and like basically Jews were murdered by the Nazi youth all over Germany. But Lily was like, going, all right, cool. All these people died by the Nazis, and look, person who made probably one of the most gorgeous films that made Nazism look gorgeous is here touring the Walt Disney Studios. That's not bad press, not at all. Uh, now there's other things like he's had some other stuff pop up like that made him seem kind of stuff, but that was like the big thing that was the big thing that was like definitely said that. But but in like what a year after that, they started making all those shorts, with Donald Duck fighting the Nazis and stuff like that. Because I think that was overcompensation because of Leni Riefenstahl coming through. And it's one of those
Yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah, it's one of those unfortunate things. I'm not like it's conflicting whether or not she herself was really a Nazi or rather she was just a hired gun, like an artist who goes. They go here, like the government it's like before knowing Trump is bad, and then you get invited to go do a thing for Trump, and you make this great thing that makes Trump look awesome, and then 2 weeks later you find out Trump is the biggest fucking dick ever. I think that's what happened. Just, but it's hard to say. I don't know. It's like basically it's like she made these great films and then could never work again because she made these gorgeous films that made Nazis look amazing, and they're not. So yeah,
Oh man.
time we
Let's
got
see. Is
here.
that true?
Does it matter?
Ooh. Okay.
Is that true?
No, I'm on Snopes, so they're gonna tell me. But here's the thing: I've never
Oh
seen this
yeah,
on Snopes. Claim: an artist commissioned to paint a mural for one of the Walt Disney World resorts furtively added a Nazi soldier to the background of the picture. Status undetermined. I've never seen undetermined on Snopes, especially about something this old.
yeah. Something that old, yeah. Because usually, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
What do you think? Oh, of course. Fuck you, Snopes. Whatever. Got all these pop-ups, and it's not fucking like doing anything for me. It's just freezing itself. But yeah. What I initially Googled was Nazi symbols in Disneyland, and it was just like a thing about Walt Disney. His legacy. 20 things you never knew about Walt Disney. It doesn't really say anything about it. I think it's because I've heard that before, but I've like you see pictures and it's like this looks like a swastika, but it's like it kind of does, but I also can't tell if you're at Disneyland right now. So
or sometimes things, yeah. It's like sometimes like, the cloud looks like a dog, and just you go, well, it looks like a cloud. I mean, it's not an obvious. And also, depending on what's put up, will depend on whether or not it was meant to be a symbol of Nazism or, say, a symbol of the Tibetan mysticism or even Jewish mysticism. Because
yeah. Let's see. Oh, hidden swastikas in Disneyland park lamp. Reaching,
yeah,
but yeah, kind of. Here, let me see if I can turn this around so you can see it. Oh, of course. Yeah, no, this. Stop it. Oh,
yeah,
why'd you
Lone
do that?
Star. Yeah,
Go away.
yeah, Lone Star is Nazism. I believe it.
Yeah, no. Okay, there it goes. Wait.
I think that's coincidental.
Yeah, I know. That's kind of what I'm thinking. But like, yeah, there was an actual picture of it. Also, like once again, like, is that Disneyland?
Even if it was, I think that's more coincidental. I think the larger pieces are connected in such a way that makes it look that way. I don't
Yeah.
think that's a. Why? Yeah, it's. I mean, it's not. It's not like the hidden Mickey's.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no. Find all the Mickeys and all the swastikas.
because the hidden Mickey's are that is a legit thing.
Yeah, yeah. I've found a couple. I went to Disneyland once, and you see them like in the sidewalk, or like there's like like a brick on the wall that just like has one imprinted into it and shit like that.
But
Like
it's
there
just
was
the
some really cool
one.
ones.
But it's just the one brick in the entire wall that has that one brick with the little imprint. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like for all the hotels and stuff like that, they'll hide it in like the wallpaper and then the carpet and stuff like that too.
Mm, yeah.
I'll kind of get you.
Mm. You want another short one?
Sure, let's do one more short one, and
The
I
theory.
want to talk. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In mid 2018, nearly 7 years after he tragically died of pancreatic cancer at the age of 56, someone on Reddit posted an image of a man in Egypt who looks a hell of a lot like Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs hiding in Egypt after faking his death, the post title reads. Yeah. And I mean, there's a picture here. He kind of looks like Steve Jobs. But
So it's
the
like,
proof, while the guy does have the classic Steve Jobs thoughtful chin grab, some people have pointed out that he's not wearing an Apple Watch. Now ask yourself, if you were the head of a global technology corporation known for inventing a very identifiable wrist accessory, would you wear said watch after faking your own death and escaping to Egypt? But a few thousand followers of that. But I mean, like, I actually we should have talked about this earlier. There's this website's got a bunch of good ones on it. Like Avril Lavigne died and was replaced by an actress. Lordy has eternal youth. God, this is where I got
that's
the.
we'll talk rock stars like at some point in the future, and we'll go over like the Avril Lavigne and Lord as well, because those are there's
Yeah.
like Hollywood, like we're gonna revisit like Hollywood, revisit rock stars and stuff like that, because there's a lot of cool shit with rock stars too. But most of the fun ones I end up
Mm,
like just the ones that I always find interesting is like I always get into thing is like it's concerning the like these weird things like that. And like I'm gonna tell two stories, and like what's weird about the two stories is the parallel of them. So we're gonna start
mm.
in 1924. Movie pioneer Thomas Ince attended a party on William Randolph Hearst's private yacht.
Fancy.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Um, he supposedly had left the festivities earlier because of a quote unquote upset stomach. But then it came out a few days later that he had mysteriously died. But nobody saw him in between, other than people saying he left the yacht. Nobody saw him until the body was found that he died. Now, people who were also on the so one of the people that was also on the yacht was Charlie Chaplin. Um, and William Randolph
You
Hearst
love me some
originally,
Chaplin.
I do. Well, the one of the well, one of the things was the fact is Hearst had suspected that his enormously young wife was having an affair with Chaplin, and missed shooting Chaplin and shot Ince instead. Now, Chaplin, known for his eye on much younger ladies, um, isn't terribly surprising. They actually made a movie about this called The Cat's Meow, which actually had Eddie Izzard playing Chaplin. It's
I
actually pretty good.
I've never seen it, but I've seen parts of that movie. Yeah, I know which one you're
That's
talking
pretty
about.
good. Now, it's once again, it's yacht mysterious death. Now let's fast forward. Let me pull it up right, because I can't remember. I want to make sure I have the exact dates. Not that. There we go. Now, fast forward to 1981. Natalie Wood, at the age of 43, was on a boat ride with her husband, actor Robert Wagner, aka Number Two from the Austin Powers movies, and her Brainstorm co-star and rumored lover Christopher Walken. But
Mm.
that night, yeah, but she was found like basically they're like on the lake, and they woke to find her face up in the water in her nightgown, and they said they ruled it accidental death at the time, like she had drowned. However, back in 2018, new things came to light. Is because the captain of the boat recanted his testimony and said that Wagner and Wood were having a fight that night, a really really nasty fight about Wood and supposedly getting it on with Walken. And then then she's suddenly dead. Um, Now
Mm.
to date, uh, they changed her. They officially changed her stuff from accidental drowning to just drowning. Um, and they're still kind of looking at the case and stuff like that. But I mean, it's possible number two may have done something. I don't know, or it still could have been accidental. It's hard to say. It's one of these. She could have been drunk and got in a big fight, sat outside drinking, and just stumbled and fell off too. Also possible.
Mm.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
nobody's accused Christopher Walken of anything, which is good. No, I think
They know better.
I watched the Dead Zone.
Mm.
Brainstorm actually brainstorms about that shit too. So yeah,
Yeah.
so that's one of those really weird, crazy stories. The fact is, like, there's a parallel, that weird parallel about fight with a lover, and then somebody turns up dead, and it's all Hollywood and things like
Yeah.
that, and all players like
And I'm sure
William
there's a
Randall
million
Hearst.
stories like that out of Hollywood.
Well, yeah, but that's like one of those things but like on a boat at the lake.
Yeah.
This shit happening twice,
Yeah.
essentially.
My private yacht.
That's the weird thing. And like, well, one, like William Randall Hearst was considered like one of the biggest, like when it came to media, he's one of the biggest guys out there. I mean, he controlled the news media. I mean, what Citizen Kane is basically, basically based off of Hearst.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of
Man.
those weird kind of things. I always find it fascinating for as far as that whole Natalie Wood story. I mean, she was like 40. She was getting like, I think she was signed on to do like some next big, like, I think she was supposed to go on and do like Silkwood, and also I think she should do Silkwood. Like going into
Mm.
these next big roles for stuff, because she was getting into like she's 43, so she was getting into that. She was past the she past the sexy young ingenue role. I mean, she's won an Oscar already. She's done all this other stuff, and now she's becoming that the venerated actress who's getting all the basically it's the it would be like Meryl Streep today gets that venerated acting roles. We go, all right, cool. That she was getting into that age then for being in that role, and she never did. Who knows what would have happened if she stuck around?
Yeah.
But yeah,
Weird coincidences.
that
Actually,
it's so
we might have to.
coincidental.
Yeah. No, actually, I was talking to Mexi the other day, and Mexi, the guy who does the music,
Yeah,
our outros and
yeah.
everything. He did bring that up. Actually, that's one of the things he's into is weird coincidences. Like that kind of conspiracy stuff. So maybe when we figure out our schedule for next month, we can throw that one on there and have our buddy come out and talk with us.
I'm down for talking weird coincidences, because that's a lot of times what happens. It's just we like going, that's really weird. Just like it's obviously that it is a coincidence, but sometimes just the way the timing works, it's just like that whole stuff like that.
Yeah.
Hugh
Yeah, like
Hefner
the
talked about
whole
like
White Lighter, the 27 Club, the
yeah, 27 Club is always, yeah.
yeah,
We can
yeah.
deep dive into
Well, we
27.
kind of did the 27 Club.
We kind of talked about, we can like
Yeah,
I think we can deep dive a little bit heavier for that sort of stuff. Or I don't know, there's so
yeah.
much more stories when it
Well,
comes
I
to like
think that's a good way
rock
to
and
end it. We should do the 27 Club. There's a
yeah,
ton of them
I
on
think.
there. They go all the way back to like the 1800s.
Oh, I know, and that's why I would like to actually deep dive into each of them more in detail versus like because we
Hmm.
kind of talked about with rocker deaths, but we just went here's a snippet, here's a snippet. We're gonna talk a little bit
Yeah.
more of these because like I think we talked more about Cobain than we did anybody. Uh, but there's some like
Hmm.
really
Well,
crazy stories.
Cobain's like pretty probably the biggest.
Well, at least for us, for our collective consciousness
Yeah,
now.
for our generation.
Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, there's a lot of weird shit with like Janis, Jimmy, and John Morrison. So because they like
Hmm.
literally like just
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, not in the 27 club, but next rocker thing, or just maybe in general, because the life and times of this gentleman are extremely interesting, and people don't know the half of it. Who like okay, so the CIA murdered Bob Marley because he and other reggae musicians were working to alert the public of the CIA's attempt to bring down the Jamaican Prime Minister Michael Manley.
yeah, it had nothing to do with the fact that like Bob Marley's body was ravaged by cancer.
Yeah, the
But no,
cancer they
yeah, so
gave him.
Marley. Well, actually, Marley has a lot of really crazy shit that went on in his life. I mean, he like nearly died like
Yeah, I
10
mean, he was like
times.
he was dealing with the mafia, the shatas, and all kinds of stuff. Like he like shot at cops. He like got into like shootouts. Got like I think he was stabbed once or twice.
He's
Like
been riddled with he's got shot multiple times. I mean, it's just no, yeah, Marley's actually really cool. Like, I think maybe we might maybe we might do like an outlaw rocker sort of show, like where we talk about him and like fucking like and some of the crazier like the old like outlaw country guys and stuff like that would be really interesting. Um,
yeah, get some Johnny Cash on there.
Oh yeah, Johnny Cash is even the craziest of them all. There's some even crazier guys than fucking
Oh
Johnny.
no.
Like Chris Christopherson's like a madman back then too, as was Waylon and stuff like that. The whole Highwaymen, they're all of those guys are like insane. But that's for another time. Next week, we were talking. Are we back? I think we're like doing ghosts, right? Is that right?
Are
Yeah,
we
we're
doing
gonna be
Ghost
talking
again
ghost
next
stories.
week?
Yeah. That's it. It's the last Monday, last Monday of the month. So I had to double check my schedule.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, we got to figure out. We got to figure out. Do we want to pull up random ghost stories on the internet, or do we want to have interviews?
I think I
See if
want to do
anybody
like
wants to come on with us and tell their story.
I think I would love to have people come on and talk, but we'll have the backup. You know, it's always just we'll make sure we have stories to pepper in as well. But I think the idea is I would love to get some people on.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you people watching now or watching later, whatever like that, we're gonna post this on social media. If you have a ghost story you want to tell, you want to come on and talk about it. Let's talk about your ghost story. We'd love to hear what your experience was in dealing with this sort of thing. Because it'd be it's always interesting. Ghosts is an interesting sort of thing. I On Thursday, and I'll talk about this again next week. But Mysterion, the mind reader from up in Canada, he did a live séance on the internet, and I watched it. He had this really cool Laurel Ann, which is like a little doll that's haunted. Um, uh, was telling stories and stuff like that. It was a really cool show. I really dug it a lot. I'm hoping they'll
Right on.
I really like that sort of stuff a lot. So yeah, it's one thing I try to pick for everybody. Like when I watched it, I know Hot Todd Lincoln, who we've talked, our good friend, watched it. So did Phoenix Fire. Because the great thing about watching shows on Zoom is you can see who else is watching. So it's really kind of cool. Like,
Mm-hmm.
who else do I know? So anyway, yeah. So we're gonna be talking ghost stories. We're gonna hopefully bring some people on, or maybe have a lot more, or at the very least get people's firsthand accounts that we can read off, or if they want to like
Mm-hmm.
just film it and then we show it, we'll figure it out. That's for next week. So this week got some fun stuff going on. So on Wednesday we got the Devil's Hour, which I'll be doing at 10 o'clock Central Standard Time right here. I've got um, I've got actually the aforementioned Hot Todd Lincoln will be jumping on doing stuff. Um, I've got I'm doing a thing from The Hunger, who is a band out of Houston, Texas. They've just
Oh, you
released
got
some
the
new
hunger,
stuff.
huh?
Yeah, I'm pretty
I've
pumped.
worked
So
with the hunger several times.
they're good people, and
Yeah.
they have a really good. They have a really. They're just releasing some new music, so I figured, and I really, and I kind of dig it. So I'm gonna. All right, cool. And then I found this other band that, like, completely by happenstance, because Part of my job, part of my thing that I do with the Devil's Hours, I just deep dive into the internet, finding weird, crazy shit. Anyways, like with movies and shorts and stuff like that. I came across this band called the Odd Squad Family. It's like this. It's a rap group out of like Arizona, and they're all natural borns. So
Interesting.
so you have an albino African American named Snow, uh, naturally, and there's a guy named Nubs, he actually changed the acronym, which I can't remember off the top of my head. Who is he, not being mean, but he's nubbed out. So, and they
Mm.
rap.
Nice.
And so it's one of those things I literally came across it I don't know these people, but it like literally just kind of fell into my lap somehow because I was looking for something else, and I went da 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 da. I said, Odd Squad Family, what's this? And they go, why have we not known about this? Because natural borns and the fucking doing rapping and being in sideshow. I'm gonna try.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm working on trying to get them into other stuff. Like, hey, you guys, like, here is a whole community that would love to get to know you, just and really get them on board. So I'm gonna showcase that sort of stuff, plus some really cool like short films and other weird stuff. And then it's right before, and I think I'm gonna do something as well because it's the holidays, so I may do a little thing too, because Thursday is Thanksgiving here in the United States. And then Saturday, you're officially coming back to do some stupid stuff, stupid live stream for stupid people, right?
Yeah, I am. No more haunted house for a couple more weeks. We're opening up again in December, like I said earlier. But yeah, I don't have a guest yet. I was like, who should I get? And I was like, oh wait, I'm doing the show again. Who should I get? Like I just thought about that like yesterday. So I'll find somebody cool. I'll hit up a couple of the people that I've talked to in the past, see if they're interested. I do have a couple in mind.
That's good.
But
and then
yeah,
that's cool. And then at 9 o'clock, instead of the normal G Spot time, will be this month's Give a Hoot show, which includes Mystery on the Mind Reader, who we mentioned earlier. Got George the Giant, who's amazing and really great person to look up to, no pun intended. Louis Fox, funny guy Eddie.
I know that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Louis cool, but he could be a little cooler.
Hey. The Oddworld troupe out of New York. They're going to be doing some stuff. I'm going to be doing a little thing there as well, so I'm going to bring the show down to that way it's not too lofty. And then it's going to end with a live.
Hey, I did it last time.
I know, that's what we gotta keep. We're there to keep them humble. That's just. And then, in addition to just being the host for the shows, which is the Guinness award-winning cast member of Captain Maybell, who's been hosting every month, they're also doing a live set on the air. It's not taped. They're going to do something live for everybody to watch it. And it's going to be right here, Cabin Fever at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the following Monday, me and Scabs are going to muck shit up again and like talk about ghosts, like we do.
Yeah, yeah, Ghostbusters. We're gonna talk about motherfucking ghosts.
That's good. Yeah, I saw my little.
It just happened to be sitting right here under my desk.
Yeah, that's really good. I've got my little pop art of you and the Ghostbuster logo thing, which is I think that's just so much fun. But anyway, thank you guys for tuning in so much. We appreciate it immensely. Check out our social medias, all that fun stuff. Contribute to the channel. Even we're the ones keeping it alive, and we're trying to keep everything alive. So we like to fun. So thank you guys for once again tuning in and watching and stuff. We'll see you guys soon. And as always, keep drinking, man.